Hi, I'm Zandi Carlson. I'm an acting coach, director, and performer in Seattle, Washington. And I wanted to ask people in the industry, what do we do for theater self-tapes? How is it different from film and television? What do we need to do to be successful? So I asked some of my friends, and here's what they said.
Hi, Erin. Can you introduce who you are and how you've used self-taping for theater auditions?
Hi, my name is Erin Murray. I'm a theater director, and I recently watched anywhere from 300 to 350 video auditions and callbacks within probably a 3-week period. So I started 2020 not being an expert in video auditions, and then very quickly I felt like I was. These were some general auditions for a Shakespeare Festival that was casting for 3 shows that then all of the directors, the 2 other directors and myself, were watching all of the general auditions. And then we were sending out specific sides to those that we were calling back.
So they sent in monologue auditions, and then when you called them back, they had scenes that they had to read?
Yes, so they were required to give us one monologue as kind of an introduction monologue, and then we sent them back sides for whoever we wanted to see them read. And then sometimes we even watched each other's sides, even though we weren't obviously doing that show, but it gave us a well-rounded idea of who that person was.
For the people that were submitting that you didn't know, what were the things that jumped out to you in their auditions? So you're like, I don't know this actor, but because I saw this from them, I gave them a call back or offered them a part.
The people that could slate for themselves to the camera and then either go directly into their monologue or jump cut into their monologue, I got to see who they were as a person and then see what their interpretation of the monologue was. And I really liked that because I actually felt like I got more information from seeing those 2 separate people, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah, seeing them as a human and then seeing them as a character.
The people that I felt did particularly well in both the generals and the callbacks, so first impressions and the callbacks, were people that had a wide enough shot, or at least from maybe above the navel up to their head, so that they could gesticulate if they wanted to, which I think really kind of sets us apart from LA screen callbacks, because I want to see your interpretation and your physicality a little bit. And then the people in callbacks, the ones that did well were the ones that clearly put in the work and looked at the sides and had a clear idea of the text and the character, and that they generally didn't need the piece of paper. I do believe that, I want to say that 2 of the people that I ended up casting for major roles, I don't even know if they had a piece of paper in their hand, which was really impressive. I couldn't believe what a strong impact their auditions made because they were just going for it.
So that brings me to size of performance. When you're doing a film callback, you use film acting, right? You're just playing to the distance of the camera as if your person is right next to them. And so it's a little smaller, it's a little quieter. For theater auditions, how do you adapt? Do you make it a little smaller so that it reads on camera? Do you play how you would play on a stage, or does that look like overacting?
Yeah. So, like, a question of scale. I took a acting for a camera class when I was younger and was interested in performing and interested in acting. And I know that when you're on camera, try not to use your eyebrows. It's a lot more about stillness. I mean, I think you're even supposed to be controlling your blinking and even like the placement of your eyeballs. And in for myself, looking at this as we're casting for an outdoor Shakespeare venue. Gesticulate with your arms. I don't care about your eyebrows. Let her rip. I use my eyebrows a lot. I'm here for it. But probably keeping your core pretty centered is a good guide. Don't do some interpretive dance unless, if you're playing bottom, I guess maybe go for it, maybe swing for the fences, but embrace your gestures. I don't care about eye placement, blinks, or eyebrows. I did feel bad for a couple people in what I assume was probably New York that were doing their callbacks, because I understand that you live in an apartment and your neighbors might be home. And so I felt in terms of volume, they were very self-aware, and they were just trying to make as much noise as they needed to in order to get picked up by the microphone. And it really didn't work to their advantage. Obviously full diaphragm support and, projecting to the rafters isn't what you need in a taped audition, because the microphone is going to get overloaded, and you don't want that peaking to happen at all. But, I don't know, buy your neighbors some cookies or bake them yourselves, and just, it's going to take 12 minutes, let her rip, please.
Is there anything that people did that stuck out as, this is a bad video, this is a bad audition?
I think that it's interesting, Zandi, that we are having this tutorial in this time of quarantine, because I think that there were probably a lot of young performers that I was looking at, many of whom probably had never done a self-tape before. And there were some which the video quality or like their surroundings and where they were, that I felt, and it's on their iPhone, which is totally fine. But there's a little bit of, hey, we're not professional. Like, you get it. Like, we're all doing our best, right? And for everyone who thinks like, well, this is good enough, like they get it. There's someone that has a wall or some kind of really controlled environment that they've put some time into. I'm not asking you to put in a ton of money, but they've put in thoughts to space. And there is someone who's not on book for their callbacks, or they're very much off book and are just holding the script there for, impression purposes. The camera's kind of unforgiving. It can get really close. And so those micro decisions that you make as a performer, for better or for worse, they are definitely picked up by the camera. Personally, this is just me, but learn how to trim the last 4 seconds of thank you very much. Like, just trim it.
Control as much as you can control.
Yes.
And put as much effort into it so that you present your best performance, both in terms of acting and in terms of light and audio.
Yes, it doesn't have to be perfect, but give it all you got. And our eyeballs are so educated now. So much of our media comes from tiny screens, and whether you like it or not, every decision that you make is making an impression on the person watching the video. Every moment is an opportunity with a camera, with an audition that's pre-recorded. Thank you so much, Zandi. This has been super fun, and I hope that this video and the information that we discussed is helpful to the people who are watching. If people want to follow me, I have a public Instagram feed. It's just at @EMurrayC.
You're wonderful.
Thank you. Bye, Zandi.
Okay, that's it for today. I hope you learned something. You have some takeaways to use for your next self-tapes. If you have questions or comments, please reach out. I'm at Zandi-Carlson on Instagram and ZandiCarlson.com. I'd love to hear from you.